Laugh to keep from crying, that's what got me through. Walk through all the shadows, still God pulled me through. Life hit me with battles, but I made it somehow. Laugh to keep from crying, look at me now.
Welcome back to Laugh to Keep from Crying. You're listening to CJNA After Dark. Last time we talked about me doing everything in my power to keep my secret a secret. But as we all know, things eventually come to light. So today, let's talk about it. At this point, I was basically in a whole other relationship. And y'all know the saying, want your cake and eating it too? I had made up in my mind that I was ready to move on, but I wasn't ready to give up what I already had. How was I supposed to tell my family I was moving on because I was bored of my relationship and found someone new? In my mind, I would have never heard the end of it. So instead, I convinced myself I could juggle it all, spend days with one person and nights with another. And for a while, I really thought I had it under control. Until one night, my boyfriend was over and we ended up getting into an argument. Usually, if it got late, my mom would just tell him to sleep on the couch and leave in the morning just to be safe. But this night was different. We were both mad. I ended up falling asleep on the couch, and I remember him asking my mom if he could take her car home. He just wanted to leave. It just wasn't a good night for us. Now, people might not believe me, but I remember having this crazy dream. I saw the other guy I was talking to in a bad accident. I could see the ambulance, the flashing lights, everything. I jumped up around 2 in the morning. I didn't even realize I had fallen asleep downstairs. I grabbed my phone and texted him, "You good? I just had the craziest dream." He texted me back and said he was fine. Crazy thing is, he didn't even have a license nor a car at this time. But who knows? He could have been riding with somebody else. So I told myself it was just a dream. I remember sitting there feeling relieved. But then I noticed a light on upstairs. My mom was sitting on my sister's bed with this look on her face. I said, "Mom, what's going on?" She just shook her head. I heard her talking on the phone and realized I knew that voice. It was my boyfriend's mom. He had gotten into an accident on the way home. Car flipped. My mom's car was completely total. My heart dropped. That's who the dream was about. I immediately start calling him over and over and over. But of course, there was no answer. I was frantic. My mom finally said, "He's okay." They got to him. He's in an ambulance. I'm sure he'll call you when he can. I remember just sitting there, numb. Then I looked at my mom. She wasn't worried about cars. She was just trying to figure out what came next. How was she going to get to work? How were we going to figure this out? And somehow, I couldn't shake the feeling that all of this was my fault. We argued. He left. My mom lost her car. He was in an ambulance. And because of the choices I had been making behind the scenes, I carried guilt that probably wasn't mine to carry. Looking back now, I know life isn't that simple, but when you're already carrying secrets, every bad thing starts to feel like punishment. For the next couple of weeks, I pulled back from the other guy. I'm sure he noticed, but honestly, I didn't care. For a little while, it felt like me and my boyfriend or really finding our way back. We started talking more again, going out, trying to figure out what we're going to do to pay back my mom, trying to just move forward. But if I'm being completely honest, I still hadn't let go. I was trying to get back to us while still holding on to someone I knew I should have walked away from. I was living two completely different lives, and it was exhausting. Not because I was working so hard, but because keeping up alive is work, real work. Looking back now, one of the hardest questions I have to ask myself is, what kind of example was I setting for my daughter? Here, I was trying to teach her to be honest, to make good decisions, to stand on what's right, while I was doing a complete opposite behind closed doors. Kids don't just listen to what we say, they watch what we do. And at that moment, I wasn't becoming the woman I wanted her to grow up watching. It's amazing how much energy it takes to protect one lie. By the time I was done protecting it, I barely recognized myself. Maybe this accident was a wake up call. Maybe it wasn't. But one thing I do know, I couldn't keep two lives forever. And next week, we'll wrap up season 3. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thank y'all for listening to Laugh to Keep from Crying, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Laugh to keep from crying. Yeah, I made it through. Story got heavy, but I